Sherman Sellers grilling ribeyes today. Money. So everybody, we're trying something new today. This actually works. We're going to try and do a live demo. It's pretty simple. If you've never grilled a steak before, you should try it. It's the best way to eat food. Barbecuing is the oldest form of cooking. There are two forms of cooking that are really old. There's barbecuing and then there's not eating. So I've got a whole bunch of steaks for you today. I'm going to give these to you a little bit more than rare because I'm going to pull them off and start slicing them up now. You guys got the toothpicks? Where we got the toothpicks? The reason why I say that is because we participate in the oldest form of cooking, which is barbecue. There is not an older form of cooking, no matter what anybody tells you. There is only one older form of eating. Barbecue and wine, which you're going to have today, is the second oldest food and drink pairing in the world. If you've got a toothpick, come on up. Just come up and grab a piece of steak if you've already got a toothpick. Barbecue, yeah, don't be shy.
Look at that.
Barbecue catering company. We're going to feed you a lot of delicious food today, but first thing I'm going to do here is I'm going to do a ribeye steak demo where we're going to do it on a grill in a cast iron skillet. This is going to be the best way for you to cook steak, in my personal opinion. What you would typically cook your steak with is I like to do salt, pepper, garlic, and red pepper flake, and that's typically all I'll put on a steak. So you'll season it fairly generously because when you're cooking it on the grill, you're going to lose a little bit in the grates. But when you're cooking in a cast iron skillet, you're going to keep it all. Some of that's going to fall off, but that's going to be quite all right. My tongue's better. So you're going to season it generously, and then you're going to take this delicious steak. And cast iron might not be quite as hot as I want it to, but when I put it in here, you should hear a really sexy sizzle. If you don't hear the sizzle, everybody at the same time goes. We're all down with that? Okay. So wait a second, delay it a little bit, because if we get it right, we're good. But if we don't, and we screw it up, we're going to all work together to make this look great. All right, we're good. There you go. Good job. All right. So what we've got happening here, the reason why I like to cook steak in a cast iron skillet over top of the flame is because it's a combination of what my mother liked to do and what my father liked to do. My mother is from Kentucky. She's an old Kentucky girl. She actually taught me to barbecue. But my father is really into grilling. He's from the Bahamas. There's not the right smoke woods down there. So they're cooking meat directly over flames. They're doing a lot of grilling. So my father was a master of the grill. My mother is a master of the cast iron skillet. This is not her cast iron skillet. I have not been willed that yet. Questions about barbecue? I'm going to open it up. I'll keep talking, obviously, but if you've got questions about barbecue or grilling, it doesn't have to be related to steak. Any grill masters in here? Anybody claiming to be a grill master?
No one would raise their hand right now.
So there's no real designation of grill master. I mean, if you're the king of the cul-de-sac, you're a grill master, you know, blah, blah, blah. I'm actually not a grill master. I don't do a ton of grilling. This is about the extent of it. I'm a pit master, so everything we do is indirect to flame in a smoker, and usually takes you know, depending on what we're cooking, could be anywhere from 3 to 15 hours. I typically go 5 minutes on a side on a ribeye. Sometimes I'll go 7. These ones are pretty thick. So I'm gonna go ahead now here and I'm gonna flip that over. So that's pretty. That's pretty. What I'm gonna do right now is I'm gonna throw some butter into that because butter makes everything better.
You all love it, but you don't want to see it.
Sorry. I got John doing work that he's not paid to do. No. We're doing our best out here. So we're gonna do some interesting stuff here. So we're gonna introduce an additional element of fat to this dish with the butter. We'll put that right on top of there, let that melt. The benefit of cooking on a cast iron skillet versus directly on the grill is that you keep all of the juices. That's very important. Like the more of the moisture you can keep in the steak, you know, it's cool if it drops into the coals, you know, you'll get something coming up. It's kind of a nice smell. But you know, you lose a lot of the juices in the thing, and you know, the fat and the flavor, a lot of these are in the juices. If you have the opportunity to get your hands on some barrels, you know, whether it be from a winery or from a distillery, and you can put those in as wood chips to create additional smoke underneath your grill when you're grilling directly on it. It is a cool and magical experience, but it adds absolutely no flavor. Because anybody guess why it adds no flavor? Because the alcohol burns off right away. But your guests don't know that. And you're gonna put it in there and it's gonna squeak up with blue flame. It's gonna be really pretty. It's gonna be really super sexy. And everybody's gonna be like, what did you do to do that? And your response is gonna be, don't worry about that, it's not your business. Okay? So I'm gonna grab this here and I'm gonna move the steak over. And then you guys have all seen this on television. They do this all over the place. You're just gonna pick this up and just gonna start spooning it over the top. And then that little bit of butter that hasn't done it yet, you know, we'll put it here. And again, like I was saying, I don't do anything by touch or feel. I do everything by time and temperature. So I always carry a thermometer with me, especially when I'm cooking in front of people, so that they understand that it is important for them to have the correct times and the correct temperature. I like to get it to somewhere between 119 and 123 when I pull it. That's where I like it. And that's right where we are. And I'm gonna put this on here like this. This is where it gets really good. We're going cab front here. And we're gonna do our cab front reduction. So we're just gonna pour that line in there. You're just going to turn this around a little bit. Now, you want to keep this moving. This is actually a little hotter than I would like for it to be, but that's okay. You know, eventually we'll actually take this off early, and what I would do is if I had a half a brain in my head because I haven't used this whole grill, I just would have left it cold and, you know, that would have been fine. What we would normally do is rest the steak for 3 to 5 minutes. But because I've had you out here for 20 minutes already, we're not going to do that. So I'm going to go back over here and we're going to slice the steak. So I'm going to cut into it early because we got to get the rest of this party started. But like I said, I like to cut it on the bias. Again, biggest, most comically large knife you can possibly have. And then you're just going to cut it on the bias like this. And you're going to try and keep these pieces of the steak kind of in a line. Because, guys, come and look at, come and look at that. That is pink right in the middle. That it's not gonna get any better than that. And then what we're gonna do is go over here back and get this pan. After you cut it, yes. This is gonna be dangerous. We're gonna pour this. I'm gonna screw this up and burn myself. It's gonna be awful. We're just gonna pour that right over top of that. All right, so if you got your toothpick, come back. Save it. All right, get in there, folks. All right, after that, we're going in.
Company's all right with me. Every once in a while, yeah. I don't mind company. The company